I need you to pick me up. I'm drunk. Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact. And it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're jumping right back into r/LegbeardStories. We have a follow-up for the Legbeard ambushing a neat loser at college, which, if you haven't seen that video, I've popped it down in the description for you. Solid Adept is an extremely good writer, if I say so myself. A little bit wordy, but he really lets us get into his head, which I like a whole lot. I think the third part is where this story is really going to pick up. The stage is still sort of being set for the events that will unfold, and the stories are coming out like at a drip feed pace. But I guess that's all right, you know. I definitely appreciate you sitting down, sharing this experience in so very much detail. Just a beautiful thing to witness. So let's go ahead and get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will jump straight into some Legbeard cringe. Stealthbeard, the Legbeard of Ultimate Destiny. Part 2, Big Clubbin'? Big Clubbin'? Hello again, beard enthusiasts and researchers. Big shout out to the one and only ReddX for reading my previous post. Your narration is truly the stuff of legend. My God, again, you're building it up way too much. People are gonna come to this channel and be like, what, that's it? That's what he was talking about? The man with the golden voice has nothing on the man with the greasy voice.
Thanks so much, Solid Adept.
You seriously made my dreams come true. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. As I said, I really appreciate you sitting down to write all this. It is essentially a book. I can't wait to compile all these stories together once it's complete. It's going to be an epic journey, I'm sure. Sorry for the long wait, but it's been difficult to relive these situations. Rest assured that the story will be told in its entirety, no matter how long it takes me to get the guts to actually do so. Take your time with it, bro. We ain't going nowheres. We aren't even really to the dark parts yet. Things are only starting to ramp up. If you haven't read my introduction to these beardly women, you can find it in the previous post. And I like how your post links are like Legbeard of Ultimate Destiny Part 1, and then the other part is cut off. So if you're missing parts, you could just be like, oh, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 at the end of the link. That's like super smart. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but that's a big brain play. Anyways, enough marveling. For this story, I'd like to jump straight into the action. My friend Trollface, TF, had just roped me into going along with these two stealth Legbeards to a gay nightclub, so that the preppy-looking underaged one, that we're calling Thiccy Chick, THC, could drink with the rest of us. I was not excited by any stretch of the imagination. I don't go to clubs. I had no inclination to start going to clubs, but we were going to do exactly that. So we all agreed to meet at the local park around 8 p.m. and left the library where we had been studying in order to get ready for a night that would change all of our lives, but not in the way that we were hoping. My feet were dragging, but Trollface, ever the optimist, told me that
I should be excited to go out with two amazing college chicks.
Trollface elbowed me, saying,
Bro, you know they fuck.
Priorities. I gave a heavy sigh. The skinny one smells like cat pee.
She could smell like a flaming fish market, dude. I'd still beat.
Trollface said while pumping his hips at the air. He's such a character, dude. Where did you find this guy? I called him an idiot before getting into my old Volvo rust bucket to head back home. I had somewhat of a plan. I'd ply myself with a handy box of wine while I got dressed, and hopefully drink enough to eventually put on a happy face, for the sake of all the people around me that insisted that social gatherings are what normal, well-adjusted semi-adults do. Truth be told, I was not a well-adjusted person. I'd been a neat loser for almost the past decade. My mom could hardly stand to look at me at this point, and I know how she felt because I could hardly stand to look at myself. Oh man, that's feels. But as the alcohol began to take hold, I did start to think more positively about the situation. As alcohol does. The great equalizer or something. Maybe tonight would be when it all changed for me. I might end up with a girlfriend while going to college. I could become one of the normies and abandon my old life of social ineptitude and voluntary isolation. I pulled myself up from my bed, drew another tall glass of cheap wine from the handy spigot on the ever-present wine box on my dresser, and began to dress myself in the few presentable clothes that my wardrobe had to offer. See what I mean about painting a picture? All he's really described is the bed and the dresser, but I already get a look of the room because of his admitted alcoholism. Which, let's not pull punches, that's essentially what it is. But hey man, whatever gets you through the day, I guess. So I picked out a blue button-up, khaki pants, black leather belt. I didn't have any proper shoes, so I just wore the same dingy white sneakers that I wore basically every day. All the better for dancing with, right? Maybe I would actually do some dancing tonight. One of the girls might even be impressed. I smiled at myself in the mirror for the first time in a long time and drained the wine glass. By the time 8 o'clock rolled around, I was already drunk as a skunk. There was no way that I could safely drive my car to the park where we were supposed to meet. I mean, it was only a couple of miles, and Volvo does have a great crash test rating. But I didn't really want to chance it. I probably wouldn't actually die if I were to crash, as easy as an escape as that seemed at the time to me. But if this car died, then so did my chances at retaining some sense of normalcy. I think I mentioned in the last story that I don't have a cell phone, so I picked up the house phone to hear my mom ranting at one of the boyfriends from her revolving door of dicks about what a mess her life is. Preaching to the choir, I thought. OP, Mom, I need to use the phone. Mom, Jesus Christ, are you drunk? OP, sorry, I just don't hold my booze as well as you do. Whichever boyfriend it was let out a chuckle while my mom huffed and slammed the phone down. I didn't bother saying goodbye to that guy for her. I just hung up the line before opening it again and dialing up Trollface. Trollface,
Where the hell are you, dude?
OP, I need you to pick me up. I'm drunk. Trollface,
You really are a piece of shit, OP, you know that?
OP, yes. Yes, I do. It's the perfect answer. I hung up the phone, again without saying goodbye, and went to sit on the curb and have a cigarette. I don't really smoke often, unless I'm very tipsy. The death stick was stale, but I was too drunk to really care. It also burned up quick enough to burn my fingers while I peered down the street looking for my ride. In almost no time at all, Trollface pulls up in his little silver two-door Hyundai hatchback with the two girls stuffed in the back seat. I wobbled to my feet and jerked the door open before plopping down passenger side with a sigh. Thick Chick, wow, OP, you almost look presentable. OP, yeah, you too. That's such a horrible response. You almost look presentable too. Right back at you. I don't know if she's negging him or not. Probably, based on what we know from the last story. I hadn't actually looked at her, to be fair. I was just trying to stop the world from spinning. Maybe it was from standing up from the curb too fast, although it was probably the double-digit glasses of wine that I had. Trollface,
You been pre-gaming it, huh, buddy?
Legbeard,
Ha! Pre-gaming is for poor people. Just how broke are you, OP?
I knew I was being insulted. More of that infamous negging. Part of me began to wonder if she really wanted to be my friend at all, or if she was just naturally an arrogant jerk without really meaning to be. I wanted to come up with a burning retort, but my brain was swimming in its own juices, so what came out was something along the lines of, OP, yeah, broke enough to break your head, Ivan Drago. I must break you. Legbeard, what the fuck? I might be offended if you could afford more than one pair of shoes. Or did you honestly choose to wear a black belt and white shoes? Ugh, you're such a mess. Me and Thick Chick were considering fixing you, but you might be the first case we've had that is absolutely beyond repair. She went on and on for a minute or two, just laying the vitriol on so thick that I started to think twice about talking back to her in the future. Little did I know she was laying the groundwork for what would become my hellish existence for the years to come, but I didn't know that yet. I did want to be fixed if that was possible, so I just nodded drunkenly. When in doubt, submit. Works for dogs, works for people. It's good for the kids, it's good for the adults. I hope they don't mean fix you like chop your balls off, OP. Tell me you're still an intact man. Let me know if you're okay. Thick Chick, leave him alone. We're gonna have fun tonight. Don't start us off on the wrong foot. Thick Chick was sitting behind me and began to run her slender fingers through my hair. The world stopped spinning as the car started to move. I had another brief moment of hope then. I could totally learn to be a human instead of a cave troll. God, I identify with that so much. Thick Chick could help me on the path. She was attractive, and I really did start to like her more than I should have in that moment. But she had this angry shrew stapled to her hip. Could I deal with that? I mean, what was my alternative? Forever Alone had served me well for years, but this was the start of turning over a new leaf. I leaned my head into her hands and let out a contented sigh. Thick Chick, oh P, you have so many split ends. You should really let Legbeard and I give you a makeover one of these days. I didn't say anything in response. I just nodded, not realizing the ramifications of what I had just agreed to. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We pulled up to the nightclub in what felt like just a couple of minutes. A very heavenly couple of minutes. I relished that kind of attention, which I had never really had before. I stumbled out and put my seat forward to let the ladies out of the two-door, while Trollface said he was going to go find somewhere to park. I said, all right, we'll go stand in line. That's good thinking, OP. Always reserve that spot. As I walked towards the line, it felt like everyone around me was whispering about me. Even being as drunk as I was, I couldn't stave off that innate paranoia that has had a rather large role in keeping me introverted for as long as I have been. Even Legbeard and Thick Chick seemed to be lagging behind, talking into each other's ears every second that my back was turned. Maybe it wasn't all in my head. I tried to hold fast to the stupid visions that I've had about me being a normal person, but they turned to ashes in my hands. Still, it was too late to turn back. If I'd brought my own car, maybe, but stupid me, trying not to die while still greasing the wheels of socialization, had now left me stranded. It's a series of unfortunate events. I stood in line silently, trying not to look as awkward as I felt, when Legbeard tapped me on the shoulder. Legbeard, seriously, what is it with your shoes? Did your mommy dress you? I'm honestly asking. I'll buy you new shoes if you want. If you're gonna hang out with us, then you need to dress like a human with a halfway functioning brain. She just was not going to let up, was she? I thought her looks were off-putting when I first met her, but now I was sure that she was ugly, inside and out. I was really starting to actively hate this suburban witch woman. But I still felt deep down like I needed her help, so I couldn't simply scream at her all of the choice words that were swimming in my brain. I had precious few options at my disposal. I could smile and nod again, admit to her in front of everyone, all these strangers, that my own mother hates me, or do what I actually decided on, which was just to ignore her. So I did just that, with a raise of my eyebrow that I like to think looked cool and said, "You got problems, dude." But it probably said something like, "I'm a social reject and I have problems with facial spasming." Self-awareness 100, OP. It might have looked cool, I don't know. But somehow this poster just manages to like capture the essence of getting caught up in your own head. And I think we've all been there. That's why I look forward to this series so damn much. In an effort to get out of my own head and an awkward social situation, I turned my attention towards Thiccy Chick for the first time so far that night. And I realized that she had really gone all out getting ready for the club. Her long blonde hair was in an updo, some light makeup on her face that attracted attention towards her gorgeous eyes and admittedly amazing cheekbones. She was wearing a blue dress with a gray vest over it, and the vest did a whole lot of lifting to accentuate specifically two of her most womanly features. My mouth went very dry. All I could choke out was, "Wow." Thiccy Chick obviously noticed my reaction and smiled. Thiccy Chick, "My mommy dressed me too. Say thank you to Legbeard." I cringed a little at that line, but I did manage to nod my thanks to Legbeard, and she just rolled her eyes at me. My drunken brain was grasping at straws at this point. Finally, I managed to pull out a question to maybe get some conversation going. It was a really stupid question, but it was probably better than just sitting there in silence and gawking at them, wasn't it? OP. So, what do you guys like to drink? Legbeard. Rum and Coke. Thiccy Chick. Vodka cran. OP. Cool. I really like wine. Legbeard. Well, we're at a gay club, so you'll fit right in. Oh, God. How does a woman get this caddy, bro? Wasn't she the one that picked him out in the library and told him to go, like, on this little adventure? The mask has really come off. My stomach sank, and my anger started to rise. It seemed like no matter how I tried to ingratiate myself, I was just gonna end up getting kicked in the nuts. I wanted to hang out with Thiccy Chick, but it seemed like her and this squash-faced scarecrow were a package deal. I glanced around feebly, hoping to catch a glimpse of Trollface. He might be a jerk, but he's my jerk. And he's much better at navigating social situations than I seem to be. OP. Oh, good. Look, there's Trollface. I breathed a sigh of relief. Bless that cheap Korean compact. Easy to park as anything. I gave Trollface a wave as he merrily jogged towards our group. Trollface clearly saw, but didn't bother to return the wave. One of the guys hanging outside of the club did, followed by rubbing his nipples and flicking his tongue out of his mouth towards me. Oh, God! Truly, what have I gotten myself into here? We were gonna need more drinks. That is the essence of any social situation. We're gonna need more drinks. Bring them out. Trollface wrapped one arm around me and the other one around Legbeard as he approached. Trollface, I'm back! What's up, you hobos? The choice of words was spectacular. God damn it. Silence took hold as it felt like everyone in earshot turned to take a look at our little band of misfits. Trollface, of course, took the opportunity to shove me and say, "Why would you say that, bro?" What an asshole. I stood silently, wishing that I had the intestinal fortitude to just bludgeon my head against a nearby wall until I lost consciousness. Literally anything to get me out of this situation. Luckily, Thiccy Chick pointed at Trollface with a quickly uttered, "Don't." And with that, the show seemed to be over and everyone just carried on with whatever they were doing. The three of them talked while I stood on the fringes of the conversation, as usual. But the line did move, and eventually we got into the club. I headed for the bar, desperate to get my big old whistle real nice and wet. Then I saw the drink prices, so yeah, that was gonna be a no-go. Why do people come to these places? What is the point of it all? And I was snapped out of this line of thought by my cohorts sidling up and shelling out over $100 for 2 rounds of drinks. $100, 6 drinks. I think that checks out. Ain't been to a club recently, but I know you're paying like 15, 20 bucks for a drink. They downed those drinks at record speed and made another equivalent of my car insurance payment for 2 months to snag a couple more rounds. Lordy. Legbeard turned her attention to me and sidled up close. There was that cat pee smell again. She was trying to scream in my ear over the throbbing music. She was probably insulting me again. All I thought I made out was, "Loosen up!" I nodded, even though I didn't really feel it. I had tried to loosen up already. That was what the wine was for. But maybe I could force myself to have fun. What's more fun than people watching? I scoped out Trollface, and he was bouncing around like someone let a happy Labrador retriever into the club. He was trying to brush off the guys that would come by and try to join him. I smiled, and slowly, the fun did begin to take hold. I didn't leave the bar. I simply bounced to the rhythm and turned to Thiccy Chick. I grabbed her hands and started swinging them in time to the music. I mean, sure, it probably looked cringy as fuck, but I was determined not to let this night be a wash. Thiccy Chick seemed to have taken a shine to me for whatever reason, and I wanted to show her that I wasn't just some shut-in. She led me over to where Legbeard and Trollface were dancing, and we started to party down. I mean, they were all significantly drunker than I was, but I was actually having a real human experience. It felt very surreal to me for some reason. The dancing went well, and things started to get more and more heated on the dance floor. At one point, another stranger came up and tried to grind on Trollface, and he actually let it happen for a moment before we locked eyes, and he snapped back to reality. That moment still sticks with me, and I should have taken it as a sign of things to come, but I couldn't see that sausage-shaped freight train barreling towards me under the dim lights of that nightclub, and it haunted me for years. Trollface then started dancing with me. I backed away to cling to Thiccy Chick, but she laughed and just pushed me back towards Trollface. Legbeard was standing there nodding like a melted Slenderina bobblehead. I really did want this relationship dynamic to work out, so I threw caution into the wind and shook my shoulders as I shimmied back towards Troll Friend. Trollface was giving me all that he had, dropping low and arching his back while looking back at me over his shoulder. I was laughing and just letting my inhibitions go. And that's when I spotted Legbeard with her phone out, laughing and taking a video or streaming. The feelings of shame and my need for isolation all came back again in one gigantic torrent, and I immediately shoved my way through the crowd and into the parking lot. I sat on the hood of Trollface's car. Nobody came out to check if I was okay. They were busy having fun. With my arms covering my face, I began to cry. It was a frustrated cry, a shameful cry, a cry that encompassed all of the bad thoughts and horrible feelings that I had to push through to be here, only to end up as the butt of a joke. When the trio found their way back to the car, I think I was half asleep. Trollface pounded on the hood to wake me up, and of course they all had a nice big laugh about it. I just said that I was tired and asked if he could take me home.
But don't you want to go home with Trollface? I have video evidence that says you just might,
Legbeard taunted. I looked around to see them all laughing at me once again. Even my tentative friend Trollface. Even the girl who had given me a glimmer of hope for a more sociable future. In that moment, I truly hated all of them. But the hate had only just begun to brew. This was a joke that would go much too far and have far-reaching consequences. It wasn't really a joke at all. It was blackmail, outright. Now, to be clear, I refused to think that Legbeard was a mastermind brilliant enough to set up a social situation where I'd let my guard down to that extent, but she definitely took advantage of the situation. When I finally did get home, my mother glanced at me but didn't say a word, as usual. In my room, I glued my mouth to the box of wine and just kept drinking until I felt the happy juice swooshing its way to my brain. I flopped on the bed, feeling conflicted. The phone rang once. I ignored it. Was I making a bigger deal about this than it actually was? I mean, maybe it was just a silly joke between friends.
OP, pick up the phone!
My mom shrieked from the living room. I picked up and said, hello. Legbeard was on the other end. She calmly said,
Hi, OP. You should really meet me outside the library tomorrow, 4 p.m. If you don't, then I'll make sure that your time at college are the worst years of your life.
She quickly hung up, and my blood ran cold. God, what a cliffhanger, OP! Why you gotta do this to me? I want to know what happens. I'll be waiting with bated breath for part 3. It definitely has something to do with that video she took, but it'll be interesting to see what sort of angle Legbeard actually has with this video, or how she manipulates OP into believing it's a bigger deal than it is, because honestly, the only person in his life at the moment seems to be Trollface and his mother. So neither of those dynamics seem like a very positive thing for the OP to be participating in anyways. So if they did drop him because he turned out to be gay, which he's really not even gay, it's just a video that looks kind of gay, I think he'd be better off for it, honestly. Okay, I dropped my friend, I dropped my mom. I'm starting over from 0, but really I had only gotten to 2. So starting over from 0 ain't all that bad. But yeah, I understand the heat of the moment. It'll be interesting to see OP's thought process, because he really does let us inside of his head, and that is the thing that I like most about these stories. So looking forward to part 3, even if it takes a couple more weeks to come out. I'm on the edge of my seat, man. Thank you so much for chronicling it out. It is going to be absolutely epic, I am sure, once it's all put together. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. Maybe share this video around if you know somebody that needs a laugh. Check out the links in the description. Amazon affiliate, Wifey's channel, Mr. and Mrs. ReddX, Teespring if you're trying to rock the merch, and my personal subreddit, r/ReddXReads. We've also got the social medias down there, Twitter, Discord, Facebook, whatever you want. Oh, and how could I almost forget about my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. Yes, indeed. You're seeing some names on the screen, and I would like to thank them all. But especially ZeroMMX, Lady Nix, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Cider Drinker, Tato Ferret, The Last Shinobi, Mark 211, Michael Undead, Aaron W, Mitch, John Hero, Candy Sora, DigiNZ, Fire Drake, Little Lone Wolf, Miss Monday, Silent Revolver, JM Coon, Leon Embers, TSM Kirby, Redwind, Synaptic Boomstick, Jerry, Staples, Yeet, Devindra, and our new friend, welcome to the fold, Cake Jerry. It's a different Jerry. We got Jerry and we got Cake Jerry. I love that. That's so funny, man. The name Jerry's been popping up a lot for me recently. Some videos do get demonetized, and I really appreciate being able to lean back on my patrons. I hope eventually I'll be able to just cover all of my expenses through Patreon and not have to worry about demonetization at all. That is the dream. And then I can make basically whatever content that I want to. But for now, we're basically using it to skirt by the videos that get demonetized. And I'm really appreciative of that. Honestly, if anybody else could help them support, that would be absolutely huge. I thank you very, very much in advance. But if you can't right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. Because really, the views is how my beard stays so buttered.
I love that outro.
In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe watching some more ReddX videos. Oh my God, that's the best idea ever, in my opinion. But always remember, friends, no matter what, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely, definitely deserve it. I will see you in the next one. And until then, friends, bye-bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.